Yeah, and okay, so the recording has started, and I will give the floor to Alasne, and after that there's time for question and answers and discussion.
Okay, thank you very much, Hank, for your introduction, and thank you to everybody for joining this webinar and for your interest in listening to what we are doing at the University of the Basque Country. I want to thank also my colleague David Hoyos, who has been also organizing this, and the rest of you, Rebecca and others that have been working for these webinars. So thank you very much. So yes, I'm going to share my screen so I can share this brief presentation that I have prepared for today. Let me see if you can see it. Yeah, should be there, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Very good. Thank you, Hank, for the confirmation. Well, so today. Today's webinar title, right, is Social Justice at the Center of Learning and Teaching in Law, the Legal Clinic for Social Justice. So I'm going to explain to you a little bit what we are doing at the Legal Clinic for Social Justice and what are our main outcomes regarding especially the learning and teaching in law, different tools and ways that we have been trying to implement during these years with this project. Just to start, the Legal Clinic for Social Justice, it is located in the Faculty of Law of the University of the Basque Country, and we have two Faculty of Law centers, one in San Sebastián, Donostia, and the other one in Bilbao. And we are in these two cities. And myself, as Hank was introducing me, I'm Alasne Irigoyen. I'm a professor of theory of law at the Faculty of Law and also a board member of the Legal Clinic for Social Justice, of the board of directors, right? So we are a group of different people that I will explain to you later, who we are there and what we do, but I'm just one of the board members. Yes, can you hear me well? Yes, okay. If there is any problem, please let me know, because I cannot see all of your faces. I'm seeing the presentation right now. So for today, what is the outline for this session? A brief presentation of the Legal Clinic. I would like to share with you what is our vision, how we envisage our legal clinic and the teaching and learning that we try to develop in law studies. I will go to explain then in third place the teaching and learning different tools that we are trying to implement. Then I will talk about our engagement with local social stakeholders, such as NGOs, different associations, groups of people, also socially committed professionals, lawyers, prosecutors, judges, and so on. Then I will highlight the students' experiences, some of the experiences that we have gathered and some of the results that we are seeing in the students' learning and paths, and then some of the outcomes that I think might be in line with the vision also of the Enlight network and the different objectives that we are trying to foster in this interesting network of universities, right, that we are building. So this is the plan for today. And of course, as you know, after I will be very happy to hear more from you. If you have any comments, questions, also, I know that perhaps other colleagues are also working in other legal clinics in different universities of the Enlight network. So I will be very happy to hear also from you and connect in that regard. So what are the key points of our Legal Clinic for Social Justice? It was created in 2016, so we have been already working for several years. It is a structure and space in the Faculty of Law, and it is composed mainly of three groups of people. First, of course, we have the students of law and criminology Normally, each year we have about 10, 12, sometimes a little bit more of students that come to our legal clinic program. And normally they are from the last year of the law and criminology degrees and also from the master's degrees at the Faculty of Law. Then another group is the group of professors, researchers, and also university staff that is working in admin or in other places of our faculty. And then, of course, we have the representatives and also sometimes just people that participate in associations, in NGOs, these representatives of local social stakeholders, and also we have socially committed legal professionals that come with us. And this last group is the group who is carrying to the legal clinic the different cases and real cases of victims of groups of people that are victims of several social injustice and discrimination problems that we work with then afterwards in the Faculty of Law at the legal clinic. So the program runs during the whole academic year, and it focuses, of course, on legal critical thinking, on social justice and discrimination. And everybody involved is trying to teach and learn about the law from critical theory perspectives. And we carry out different activities, and I will put several examples of our activities later on. But first of all, I will talk about what is our vision here at the Legal Clinic for Social Justice. Of course, many of you might know already that we have legal clinics at different universities all around the world, right? It has been already several decades that we have different legal clinics. There are very different models of legal clinics in different universities. But in general, what we can say is that the general vision or aim of legal clinics is somehow to pass from law in books to law in action. Right? And to do that, there are different ways to do so. But the key is to have some action and some practical experience so that the students can engage with real cases and learn in that way law. But our legal clinic is built upon a specific model of legal clinic, which tries to put justice at the center. So, of course, there are many models of legal clinics. Our and others model, somehow the objective, right, is that the students' practice is oriented towards involvement in real cases and problems that have to do with social justice and structural discrimination. We can call also this systemic discrimination, right? So for us, we work only with cases that are somehow examples of very serious systemic discriminations, and these are examples of groups of people, of victims that are not isolated, but that have these kind of problems. We will see later on, no, which kind of problems we are dealing with. So for us, the legal clinic is first of all a transformation, right, of the pedagogical system of the law. So we try to combine theory and practice from critical perspectives. And of course, it is a laboratory for reflection and identification also of anti-discriminatory legal strategies through which students, they create somehow the awareness of their role in achieving a more just society. So we try also to foster a kind of student that is going to be a future professional or legal professional that is engaged with the problems, social problems that we see in our communities, in our cities, in our neighborhoods, in the Basque Country in general. So in fact, our vision, as you can guess already from what I have been saying, is inspired by critical reflections. And also we see law as a tool of the power systems, right? And we want to foster this vision also in the students' awareness and learning process. So some of the questions that we ask ourselves, and also we try that our students reflect about, right, is what is the role of law in creating and perpetuating discrimination and social injustice? How can we use also the law to foster the contrary, the social justice? Now, how can we use law as an emancipatory role, as something that can also give us rights and freedom, right? And also, what is the students' or which will be future legal professionals' role in contributing to their society, in a more just way. So these are some of the questions that guide our vision. And our objectives, very briefly. So first of all, put the students in contact with cases of people and groups who experience serious situations of injustice caused by either isolated systems of power, such as sex, gender, migration, race, ethnicity, nationality, disability, sexual orientation, and so on, and also, of course, by their intersection, right? So people and groups who experience serious situations of injustice caused by the intersection of these systems of power. This is one of the first objectives, to put the students in contact with these real cases. Then to generate instruments for analysis and legal challenging of the cases. It's somehow a rights engineer, right? And we try to combine the lessons learned in the studies, also with the experience of associations, NGOs, different groups of people that are experts or that are working with victims that collaborated with us. And here you can see some nice pictures of, for example, some of our students and also some of our collaborators. For example, Mer Gomez, who is an intersex activist, Diego, our student of this year, Cecilia, also a student of this year. Also, we have Saul Castro, who is a lawyer, a fantastic lawyer, specialized on strategic litigation, on LGBTQ+ issues, and so on. The third objective would be to propose reforms in the legal and criminological teaching and pedagogical ways, so that we can allow that reflection on the power systems of power. And lastly, to contribute to the work carried out by public powers in their social justice policies, suggesting possible areas of intervention or improvement, when this is possible, of course, and depending the cases. And here we can see two of our colleagues of David and mine at the Faculty of Law with a session that they developed this year. What we do exactly? What are our tools? Briefly, and just to give you a general overview, we focus on the final bachelor and master's dissertations on the students. Our students work on real cases that the different associations and NGOs and professionals bring to us. They work with these organizations and also with the victims in order to do their final degree or final master's degrees, dissertations, or works, right? We organize also during the whole year different seminars on critical thinking. We also give the opportunity to our students to do internships in these kind of organizations. We also offer practical trainings. For example, I will put some examples later, but on how to interview victims or vulnerable groups and so on. So practical trainings that we think are important for our future professionals, right? That would be engaging with different victims and groups of people. And finally, we developed some research and we do other collaborations. Depending on each year can vary, depending on the necessities also of our colleagues at the NGOs and in other organizations. Just to give you some examples of the final dissertations and real cases that we have been working on with our students. These are examples of this year, okay? So for example, the first one, violence, exploitation, and lack of protection of migrant women, a journey through the systems of domination through the case of Hallam. And this was our student, Omaima Lordani, who developed this work. A second one, obstetric violence as a form of violence against women from a social and legal perspective. Another one, critical analysis of the international protection system in the Spanish state, the experience of Hamza al-Hafidi, a case of resilience. Statelessness as a regime of exclusion and discrimination, the case of Malak, mother, woman, and Saharan. And finally, but we have much more examples. The case of Carolina, sex work, stigma, and the consequences of different legal models of our student Maite Ruiz. And this year we had very good news. One of our students, Arrate Gorrotxategi, won an award to the best final degree dissertation in integrating the LGBTQ+ perspective in our university. And her work was done at the legal clinic and was built upon the real case of Asmi Molina, who is an intersex person, and also Carolina, an activist, an intersex activist. And this, you can see the two of them in the picture receiving the award. In the right, our student, Arrate Gorrotxategi, and in the left, Asmi Molina, which of course we invited to the award, and she was also recognized at the university for that collaboration. And the work was titled "The Silent Realities of Intersex People, Discrimination and Violations of Rights Allowed by Legislation." So this was a very good news. Just to give you other examples of the practical trainings that we have been developing in these years, for example, interview skills and protection of victims, communication tools for lawyers working with vulnerable groups, implementing feminist methodologies in law, and so on. Another examples of critical thinking seminars. I have put there some of the titles of the different seminars that we have prepared. And also every year we adapt the seminars. So we really tailor the seminars so that we can offer our students the best critical thinking tools for dealing with their real cases. So for example, this year, of course, we had a session about obstetric violence with two experts that you can see in the picture that came, because we were dealing with a real case of obstetric violence. In fact, perhaps some of you might know this case because it arrived I think it was just last year to the CEDAW committee. And it was a case of obstetric violence that happened just a few kilometers from our university in the public hospital of Donostia San Sebastian. So we work also with that victim and with the lawyers of that now case that has even arrived to the CEDAW committee. And our student also had the opportunity to interview them and to work with that case and try to contribute with her work to that issue, right? So there you can see different examples. I'm not going to read them all. And finally, just to give you some other examples of different collaborations. The thing is that, as I was saying before, we need to be flexible and we also adapt, because each year we can have different necessities or demands from the NGOs or the legal professionals that we work with. So of course, depending and according on our available capacity and also the resources that we have each year, we can try to collaborate more and also give different legal advice to the NGOs and so on. To give you specific examples, about 3 years ago, our students with a group of 2 professors developed a practical guide on the legal status of the victim in Spain, which was something that one of the NGOs that we work with was very interested in having. So we helped them with that. And this year, also one of our professors, together with another lawyer and 2 students, have been also preparing and doing supporting documents for a case of an intersectionally discriminated migrant in our community. So they have been working with the lawyers to help in the preparation of those different documents to be presented before the courts. But it can depend, right? The collaborations that we do, depending on the cases, depending on the specific needs and of the NGOs and so on, as I was saying. So we try to, one of our key elements, or I would say even strong points at the legal clinic of our university, is that we engage with local social stakeholders. This is a picture of the session we have in October last year with the representatives of different groups, NGOs, associations, and also some of our students. It's a nice picture of a lot of people there. And to give you an example, so of course we collaborate with Red Cross, which you know it, also with local organizations. For example, here in the Basque Country, we have Emakunde, which is the Basque Gender Equality Body, CEAR Euskadi, which works with refugees, the Basque LGBTQ+ Observatory, SOS Racism, with local trade unions, also the ombudsperson or ombudsman, also associations of Roma community, and also with the small local organizations, right? And on another hand, we work with individual persons, normally socially engaged or socially committed legal professionals, such as lawyers, and also even prosecutors. This year, we have been collaborating a lot with the specialized prosecutors against the hate speech in Spain, lawyers that work on or against racism, also feminist lawyers who work on gender-based violence and that work with gender perspective, of course, and so on and so on. And what do students say about their experience in the legal clinic? So since 2018, we have been launching a survey. So students answer to the survey anonymously, and they need to answer to different questions so that we can gather information about their experience working with us in the Legal Clinic for Social Justice. And in general, we have received positive results. The general assessment is very good. It's almost 9 out of 10. The majority say that they would definitely recommend the clinic's approach and their experience learning with us to their peers. And of course, they also highlight different aspects to improve, right? More resources, also the time, because in one academic year, they need to do a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and sometimes timing can be a little bit tight. And they also want even further engagement with their peers and associations. And we try to answer to these needs, but we are doing so. We are trying in that way. Also, we have some qualitative answers, right? So, for example, they highlight, and here I have put some of the quotes of our students. This one says, "Doing my dissertation has not been easy, but I am happy that I didn't confine myself to the traditional way of just looking at laws and case law, and that I analyzed the application and effects of law from a critical view." Another student says, "The experience has been very positive. It has been enriching to discuss social justice from other fields too, such as sociology." And another one says, "I have enjoyed the close and empathetic approach," and so on and so on. And when we asked our students the following, right? If there is something that I will remember from my experience at the legal clinic, it is. And here we are very happy to know that they will learn, for example, and they will remember the importance of critical thinking in our society. Also, that they will remember the opportunity that they had to work on a real case that in fact had occurred in our community as a student. This is something that they really appreciate, and they think it's very positive for their learning experience. And another one that says to apply the law more practically and get to know the reality of local social groups. So for us, it is very important so that students are connected, right, to the realities of social injustice that we see every day in our communities, in our country, in our neighborhoods, and so on. And finally, we could highlight different outcomes of our experience, but for this brief presentation, I will try to confine myself to two of the main aspects, and also that I think are connected also to the Enlight vision, the vision of the network that we have received. And one is the fostering of the social function of our university with this project. Because today, normally, when we talk about the different challenges that the university is facing, we make reference normally to three pillars or aspects, right? First, to the teaching, also the research, and also the social function of the university. What is the role of the university in our society, right? And we think that with the project of the Legal Clinic for Social Justice, we are fulfilling all these three challenges, and we work on all these three pillars of our universities. But we give special relevance in the model that we have chosen in our legal clinic to the third, to the social function. And in fact, it is interesting because often we can have the feeling, right, that many different people in society, groups, even associations, they do not approach the university. They do not see the university as a place to go, a place to be, but we somehow open the doors to of our university to all these people. And also we are receiving people that has never come to a university, perhaps when they come to our different seminars or sessions. We have received the victims themselves, the representatives of different NGOs, and so on. So we are opening the doors, right, in that sense. We are, of course, giving a service learning, right? Our students also are learning by giving a service to the society in the form of their dissertation, in the form of the different collaborations that they do with the professors and the lawyers and the other associations and with the victims. And in fact, we believe, right, that university students cannot be oblivious to the problems of social injustice, and those of a law faculty even less so. So through the clinic, the students, but also the teachers that get involved there, create social and also critical awareness. And in addition, in their theoretical and practical activity, they generate knowledge aimed at solving the situations of the most socially disadvantaged people in our communities. So in that way, we think we are fulfilling that aspect, right, of the university's social function with our project. And of course, we are trying, but this is a path that many of us try to foster, to innovate in teaching and learning law. In fact, as I mentioned before, for us, the Legal Clinic for Social Justice, when we created it at our university, it was created because we experienced and also we identified some of the flaws that had our pedagogic approach to the law normally, which is too positivistic, too detached from society. Somehow it is far away from many of the problems of real people in real life. So we identified those flaws and we tried with the Legal Clinic for Social Justice to fulfill or try to fill some of those gaps, right? By using and trying different ways of learning about the law for our students. And that's why we had a lot of clarity in the necessity of engaging with the diverse groups and with the local stakeholders. Also to put the students' needs at the center, so that we try to focus a lot on what they need to really work on well in the real case, that they want to engage with, give them the different tools, the theoretical background, critical background that they need really in order to develop later on that anti-discrimination legal strategies that we are fostering in our legal clinic. And we also try to create learning tools that are horizontal and foster more equality among all of us. So normally also the students highlight that they have enjoyed a lot the approach, the closeness that they feel with the professors, with the researchers, with the professionals, that they come and that they collaborate with us in the legal clinic. So it's something that also students appreciate a lot. This not authoritarian or a top-down approach, but trying also to get the involvement of everybody in the same somehow level, right? So we are trying to innovate in this teaching and learning in law in our faculty. So this has been all from my part. I want to thank you all for your attention. And of course, I put here the Instagram and LinkedIn account or social media of the Legal Clinic if you want to follow us. Also my contact email and also the contact email of the clinic directly. And if you have any questions, any comments, I would be very happy to hear them from you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Alasne. I'm really impressed with all the work that you're doing. So it really combines all the 3 university missions. So, but I'm sure that there will be some questions, or maybe some of the participants want to join their own experience, which may be partly the same or different. So if you have any question, just switch on your microphone and speak, or use the chat if you have troubles with the microphone. Anyone? Yeah, Josephine?
Yes, I was wondering about the grading of the students. Sorry, I will put on my camera. So we have some difficulties in including the perspective from the social stakeholders at difficulties. Just wondering how you grade the students. What is the verhouding, the way in which the NGO can also evaluate the students, and does this affect the score they have for their thesis, for example?
Yes, thank you, Josephine. In fact, about the grades, the NGOs and other associations, they don't have the power to score the students. Not formally, but of course, some of the NGOs have been very happy working with some students, and sometimes they offer to extend their internship. Or I know that in some cases, some of our students have even gained a job in that association because they had a good experiences with them, but we have cases of all. But in terms of formal scoring at the university, NGOs and associations are not involved in that process.
Do you have any criteria in the work that they should reflect on the collaboration with the NGO? So make it different from a theoretical thesis? Are there different criteria there?
Yes, the criteria, first of all, for students, we ask them to show an interest in joining our legal clinic project, and with that registration they need to explain the reasons why they're interested in joining us, and then we interview the students. Unfortunately, because we are a group of people and we are not the whole faculty, just a group of the Faculty of Law, we cannot take on board all the students that sometimes we would like to. Some years we have had a lot of applications, but we need to stick to about 10-15 students each year. And hopefully we will be able to have more students each year, but we are dealing with the resources. and the different capacities, right, of our professors and the organizations. So first of all, that is the criteria. We see we have well-established criteria and objective criteria for that, but it is important that students have somehow that first interest, or that they are moved by justice, or social justice somehow. If they are completely, or if they know already that they will be working, I don't know, in tax law, for example, or in other, in other areas that are not interested by justice at all, it is not normally the place, right? Because our aim is to foster that social engagement of our student. And after about working with the different associations, we work very hard, and this is something like an ongoing reflection on, because we don't have all the answers yet, ongoing reflection on how can we improve our engagement with these groups and also even the victims, right? So that we not extract real cases just for our academic purposes. No, this is not our vision. We want to really try to contribute to them. So asking about their specific needs with the work that our students do. But this is an ongoing reflection and an ongoing conversation also with the organizations that we work with, and how we can help them even more, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Any other question or contribution about own experiences, which also is very interesting?
Yes.
Brigitte?
Yeah, thank you very much for the interesting presentation. My name is Brigitte Toebes, and I also work at the Faculty of Law at the University of Groningen. And yeah, we have similar approaches. We are increasingly setting up courses called Law in Practice. So we have one called International Law in Practice. I teach very much in international law programs. So in those courses, the focus or the lens is international law and human rights, but indeed we engage with all kinds of stakeholders, mostly NGOs, for example, and on similar topics that you mentioned. So I recognize a lot in your story, but much admiration for the engagement that you have created, and the whole everything around it is a bit more organized and more visible. I was just thinking, if we all do similar things, could there be some kind of collaboration? How do you share experience? Could you organize a conference where you all get together to share these experiences? Could you even set up joint assignments between the various courses? Those are just some on the spot reflections.
Thank you, Brigitte. Very, very nice. Very happy to know that you are also working on a similar path at Groningen. And in fact, I was wondering, you were mentioning that you are organizing a law in practice course. Is it like a formal course that you give in the law degree?
Yes, it is a formal course. There is one course called International Law in Practice. Just to give the example, there are groups of students of around 3 to 4 students work with one assignment coming from an NGO, an international organization, a domestic organization, maybe a company, but not so often, and to advise that body in response to a question that they ask. And then they write a report for this NGO, for example, and that report is assessed by us, the lecturers, and that is the assignment that is graded.
Okay.
Yeah, that is how it works. Yeah. And it works. It's interesting for the students, and it is also sometimes a stepping stone for them to enter the professional world, because students studying international law, they want to work for NGOs, international organizations, and so forth. So in that sense, it's also very useful.
Nice. No, it's very interesting, and I would be very happy to perhaps to talk further with you if there are any ways to collaborate, or even that joint assessment that you were highlighting. So please, yes, let's be in touch, and I would be very happy also to know more about your course and how you develop it with the students, also the kind of organizations that you work with and how you engage with them. Because it is always, as I was saying before, right, an ongoing conversation, the ways that we collaborate with the organizations and so on. I don't know in your case if it is already something that it's consolidated or established, that you have some key actors that always come, or how it is going for you.
No, each year the lecturers, we lecturers are all contacted by the course coordinator. Do you know anybody who has a question? And then we are all contacting our network and asking, do you have an interesting question? It could be about the health position of undocumented migrants. I'm just mentioning something. I should have collected some more ideas of typical questions that have been addressed, but it's a wide range of different types of questions. For example, also coming from the International Committee on the Red Cross, and so on. Yeah.
Very good, very good.
Yeah. So I see a lot of similarities also with the work of the science shop. So that's it's nice to hear. There's one question in the chat because there's a lot of background noise at Laura's. Can you give some more information about the reflection seminars? Because also at the University of Leuven, they want to set up these types of reflection sessions.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we tailor them each year. Normally, we have had, there are some seminars that are, for example, human rights from critical perspective, or decolonial perspectives, right? Or even strategic litigation. These are some sessions that we have not every year, but we have had in several years. But the thing about the critical thinking seminars is that we tailor them each year according to the needs and also the real cases that we will be working on during that year. And those cases change this year because are the cases that are brought to us by the NGOs, associations, lawyers, and so on. So we tailor them. We tailor the program in September each year, depending on that cases. Yeah.
And then it's like a 45-minute session, or how long are those sessions?
No, normally it's 1 hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, well, in theory, it should be 1 hour and 30 minutes of discussion, but normally, because they're so interesting, we extend them a little bit more, and it goes until 2 hours, perhaps, often, quite often.
Yeah.
Maybe because the noise is gone now, so I can also react directly. So if I understand it right, it is those critical thinking seminars are thematically, so it's about one theme, and all students work on the same theme of cases in with the same theme.
No, each student, or almost each, perhaps sometimes 2 students, work on one case. So we have different cases going on at the same time during the year. So perhaps, yes, you have a thematic seminar, for example, this year, because we had a very important case on obstetric violence, as I mentioned. We had a particular seminar on the framework of obstetric violence, where we put it, of course, in the framework of gender-based violence. Also, we see how the law and our legal system reacts to that, or how it deals with obstetric violence. And there was only one student in our group working on that case, but the rest came, and also they need to learn about other social injustice and systemic discrimination issues. And I think this is something enriching in general, because you get to know about different themes. And apart from those specific themes, we also, as I was saying before, usually have more broad themes, such as, like critical methodologies in law or strategic litigation. And this is something that they can apply to all different themes that they are working on. So we try to combine and tailor the program each year. And normally our students say that it is a positive experience, because perhaps during their whole bachelor degree, they have never heard about that problem, or they were not conscious about the systemic dimension of that problem, right? So this is the way we have done it until now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, any other questions or own experiences? Because I think within Enlight, it's very nice to look at like European law that also sometimes speaks strongly about non-discrimination and things like that. So it would be interesting also to compare experiences in countries, like Brigitte also said. And it was very nice to see that students always want to do more, like more time, more interaction. So it's really motivating for students as well. So it's quite impressed with that. And what are your main challenges at the moment? Is it like the position in the faculty? Is this seen as an outsider, or?
A little bit, yes. Our struggle is to have consolidated finance, resources. We have the support of the university, but still I think we do a lot with some little resources sometimes, and it's difficult because at university, well, it is a complex environment. But still, our project is been running since 2016. The good thing is that we are a motivated team of people. All of us that are involved are very passionate about our vision and the project. But yes, the challenges are to have more administrative support, more people perhaps that could help us with managing admin staff, resources, I think as many of the projects, right, that we work at in university environments. Still, we are trying to navigate that atmosphere.
Yeah, and another question that I had, so your students write theses, and are these theses directly useful for the NGO? Do you need to support them? How they can make use of this? For instance, if they have to go to court, or I don't know the format, because like, sometimes academic theses can be quite complex reading.
Yes, it depends. Normally, they use it as background information or as supporting documents for their cases, but it depends also on the case, because we have a little bit of flexibility on, for example, how their dissertations can be structured. So in some cases, we have had these kind of dissertations that have been used as a document proof before courts. Mm-hmm. In other cases, they have been used as a guide with legal strategies for a general approach that an NGO wants to develop more. It really depends. It really depends on the case. But normally, of course, the dissertations are dissertations, right? Are works. So after it depends. Yeah. The case.
It's very recognizable. Is there any other question or own experience that you want to share, or some possibilities for collaboration within Enlight or outside Enlight? Because if not, then I think we're coming to the end of the session. So Alasne, if you can send me your slides, then then I can share them. We also have made a video recording of this session, and we will send the people that have actually spoken in a consent form, and then when all the editing has been done and the webmaster of Enlight has decided when she had time to put it on the website, it will be on the website in